Hi everyone. The last video was about introducing exponents to everybody, and now we're just going to practice them. We'll have to pull out the calculator when necessary, but we learned about exponents in the last video, so now we're going to evaluate some exponents, okay? Which means we're going to break these down and figure out the answers. So 6 squared is really 6 times 6, okay, which is 36, and plus 8 squared really means 8 times 8, 64. So all we have to do is add those up, and 36 plus 64, wow, that works out to 100. Okay, let's try the next one. Now, if you get stuck on what order to do things in, that is a video that's important, and you should watch a video called BEDMAS that I have, okay, which talks about doing things in the correct order, okay? So exponents first, and then, sorry, the things in brackets first, and then the exponents, and so on. It goes in a special order. So I'm just going to do what's inside this bracket first. So 9 squared is 81, and 5 squared is 25. And over here we have minus negative 8 squared. We're going to assume that negative 8 belongs to this squared. Okay, we're going to assume the exponent of 2 belongs, affects this whole thing here, because it's going to be negative 8 times negative 8. I don't really like the way this is written because that little 2 would have been nicer to be written out here, which means it's for sure negative 8 times negative 8. But we're just going to assume that's the case here. So what is 8 times 8? Negative 8 times negative 8 is positive 64. Okay? And then at this point, if you want, you can pull up a calculator. I just pulled up the Windows calculator, and let's do it really quick. 81 minus 25 is 56, and then we're going to subtract 69, or sorry, 64. Boy, my writing is so bad, I thought that was a 69 there. And the answer was negative 8. Okay? Yeah, and I'm still not exactly sure if that 2 was supposed to be on the outside or not, but I assumed it that way. Okay, let's go to the next question. We have 4. The reason why I'm doing nothing with that right now, you can't just go 4 times 5. You have to do the exponents first. So 5 times 5 times 5, or 5 to the power of 3, if you want to see how you do it on a calculator, 5 exponent 3 should be 125. Okay, and then a 2. Now all we have to do is multiply these 3 to come up with our final answer. And once again, I'll use the calculator. So 4 times 2 I know is 8. And it doesn't matter what order when you're multiplying, as long as you're just multiplying. And the answer was 1,000. Okay, that worked out nicely. Because this 3 is on the outside here, I'm kind of feeling back over here that maybe this 2 was on the inside, but I don't feel they should throw a curveball at you at this point in the game. So let's just go with the way I did it up there. You can tell I'm still being bugged by that, but let's leave that. Okay, this question here, wow, you have to know something about fractions and how to divide two fractions, and I definitely have videos on all that. So I'm just going to do this question as though you remember how to do it. The tricky part is how do you go one half times a half times a half, which is this to the exponent 3. It's like saying 1 half times 1 half times 1 half. Okay? Well, that would be 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Okay, so a half times a half times a half is 8, divided by 3/4 times 3/4. Well, remember, when you're multiplying fractions, just multiply the numerators and then the denominators. So it'd be 9 over 16. I just squared the 3, and I squared the 4. Okay, so 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. Now, when you divide fractions, you have to remember to flip, or take the reciprocal of the second fraction. That's stuff that you may have forgotten. I'm going to put brackets instead of the times sign. So I'm going to go 16 over 9. And now all we have to do is multiply the top and then the bottom. So 1 times 16 is just 16. And 8 times 9 is 72. And then, I mean, that is the answer, people, but you may remember that we should show the answer in the lowest terms or reduced form or simplified, depending how your teacher likes to talk about it. So I'm going to cut each of these in half because they're both even numbers. So I'm taking 16 divided by 2 to give me 8. 72 divided by 2 should be 36. We still have two even numbers here. Let's keep reducing. Divide these each by 2. That would be 4 over 36 divided by 2 is 18. And they're still even numbers, so let's keep going. That would divide them each by 2. 2 over 9. This answer just boiled down to 2 over 9. Yikes. Okay, let's keep trying a few of these. There's 2 more examples and then we're done, okay? Let's do this one. Let's do the exponents within the brackets. So 3 times 3 times 3, if you do it on your calculator or in your head, is 27. Minus 5 times 5 is 25. Over here we have 1 plus 4. Now, 3 times 3 times 3 is 27 again, but we have a minus there. Okay? So now let's put all this together. 27 minus 25 is 2 plus, what is 1 plus 4? That's 5. And 5 minus 27 is negative 22. Okay? And 2 plus negative 22 would give us a final answer of negative 20. If you need to push pause and do that slowly, you're welcome to. But I have to go through this quickly just so that I'm not taking forever. Because we do have one more question, and unfortunately it is with fractions. Yikes. This time we're adding 2, and adding is even harder than multiplying because we need a common denominator once we figure out the exponents. So when you see an exponent on the outside of a fraction like this, it's like saying 5 cubed over 4 cubed. The 3 goes to meet everybody on the inside. Some teachers call that shower power. Okay? So the exponent on the outside of the brackets goes to meet everybody. Not just the top, not just the bottom, but both. So 3 exponent 5 and 2 exponent 5. So now let's rewrite this again. I'll put a little equal sign there. 5 exponent 3. Well, I know that's 125. Some of these I know off by heart. If you have trouble, I know most teachers will say go ahead and pull out a calculator, but 4 exponent 3 is 64 plus 3 exponent 5, 3 exponent 5 is 243. I definitely didn't know that off by heart. And yes, we could do this one in our heads, but let's just do it really quick. 2 exponent 5 is 32. Now we need a common denominator, and that's a whole lesson that's not going to be taught here on fractions. So we're going to make the bottoms the same here in order to add the fractions. We're going to make the denominators the same. It's called a common denominator. So if I multiplied this by 2, I noticed that that would give us 64 on the bottom, which is the same as over here. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. It's going to make a huge number on top. So let's see what we have. We have 125 over 64 plus 243 times 2. Let's do that in our heads here. 6, 8, it'd be 486 over 64. Now let's add that up. So I'm going to try and speed things up. 125 plus 486 is 611. Wow. Over 64. Can we reduce this? I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it. You might be able to. No, I don't think so. Again, this is the answer, people. This really is. The only thing is your teacher and most math textbooks are going to want this written in a more simplified form. Right now this is called an improper fraction. The top is bigger than the bottom. So what we're going to do is make a mixed number out of this. How many times can 64 go into 611? I'm just going to guess and check here. Let's say 64 times, let's try 6. No, not even close. What about 64 times, I'm going to go way higher, like 64 times 9. Okay, and 10 would be too big. That'd be 640. So 64 times 9, I'm going to put the 9 right here. And you keep the bottom the same. How much is left over? So on top we have 611, and here we have 576. 9 times 64 is 576. So I'm going to go 611 minus 576. 611 minus 576. We get 35. Okay, and as far as I can tell, I think that 35 over 64 cannot be reduced. I don't think there's something that can reduce that. And you can check on your own calculator if you like, but I don't think there is, and I'm quite certain that we're going to have to stop here, and that it will be our final answer. So let's just go with it. I hope you know a little bit more about dealing with exponents. It's definitely trickier than your average thing to do in math, but it is part of math, and we got to learn how to do it and not be scared by it, okay? Because you can do any problem you want if you take baby steps and learn each little step. Then it will become easy. You too can find this all pretty easy. Okay, enough said. I will end the video. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.